Hello everyone. This is a SAP FICO training video, and we are going through the main topic of the general ledger. General ledger is a part of SAP FICO training. Okay, within general ledgers, there is a section regarding automatic postings and account determination. And that's what the focus of this video is going to be, on automatic postings and account determination. And we're in SAP S/4HANA. Okay, and to whom it may concern, today is October the 9th, 2024. Okay, all right, I believe the SAP, the version of SAP S/4HANA that this is based on is 2020, okay? All right, the subtopics are purchasing flows, sales flows, and automatic postings in financial accounting. So, if these videos are helping you all along your bumpy road to SAP FICO training, please like, share, subscribe, and comment in the video. Let me know maybe where you're from. Where you live at? Not exactly, but like a state or a country, region, something like that. Okay, because we got people all over the world, YouTube and that. So, without any further delay, we'll dig right into it. And as we go along here, once we finish a section, I'll erase it off of the board so that you know we're no longer talking about it. Finish a section, I'll erase it off the board so you know we're no longer talking about it, just so we can all keep track. In addition, I have a slideshow that I put together, some screenshots in there from SAP, so we can all stay on the same page. Cool? Okay. So, another thing I like to do, instead of just giving you information, I'll put it in the form of a question, right? So that it kind of resonates a bit better. And if you all can remember all of these questions and answers, then you can remember most of the things about automatic postings and account determination. Now, this isn't a high-level view, but it isn't a very detailed view either. I like to say this is a mid-level view. There is more detail that can be achieved, and I actually created a couple of sub videos related to some of the information I'm going to cover here, okay? And I'll actually drop those links down below in the comment section, okay? One of them I know for sure is GRIR. I really took maybe an additional 15-20 minutes and broke that down, and hoping that we can understand what's being debited and credited and why, okay? Okay, enough of that. Question: what does the account determination technique accomplish? Automatic postings will post to proper accounts. Okay. Compare finance organizational structure versus logistics organizational structure. Okay. Logistical organizational objects fall under financial organizational structures. Why? Because they ultimately generate financial documents that post to general ledger accounts. And I got a nice picture that I'm going to put up here that really breaks this down. And here's the picture for you. You'll see at the very top there, you have operating concern. Typically, I won't get into that. It's a rabbit hole. We have the controlling area, company codes. These are the financial structures. And underneath that, you have the organizational objects. for sales, purchasing, and logistics. Okay, now we're diving into purchasing flows. Okay, purchasing flows. Question, from a purchasing point of view, what is a purchasing organization? Purchasing is planned and executed within this main organizational unit. And here's a picture for you guys, kind of showing you a general flow of purchasing, from the requisition to the purchase order, that's ME21N, goods receipt and invoice receipt. But I want to break this down a bit more, if you don't mind. So, I want to show you all the document flow a little bit closer up. So as you already seen in the last photo, it starts with the purchase requisition. All a purchase requisition is someone going to their manager, okay, and saying, hey, can we create a purchase order? And they'll say, yes, you can create the purchase order based on this information you just gave me. And they said, thank you. Then they go create the purchase order. So the purchase requisition is the approval to be able to create the purchase order, okay? All right. Now the purchase order, that actually contains the materials and whatever it is that you're going to be ordering, the quantities, amounts, and things of this nature, okay? All right. So purchase requisition is created. Then the purchase order is created. Then after the purchase order is created, GRIR documents are generated. For more information on GRIR, check out the video down in the comments. Okay, what happens next? The vendor receives the purchase order and they say, hey, you want this? You got it. And they ship us off everything that we ordered. The next thing that typically happens, that's what's supposed to happen anyway, is the vendor will send an invoice receipt. And this vendor invoice receipt, IR, from GRIR, it says, hey, I gave you what you wanted, now pay me. The vendor's telling us to pay them. That's what the invoice receipt is. All right? So we got our receipt, then next thing you know, the doorbell rings, ding dong, and there's our material. It's at the door. Okay, so now we got our material, it arrives at the plant, and that's when we get the goods receipt. All right, now it's time to process the invoice. So when we're processing the invoice, we take we debit the expense account and we credit the GRIR account, which is a clearing account. Now, we debit the GRIR clearing account and credit the vendor account. Vendor gets paid. Okay, still tracking me? Then our materials stopped and put into the storage locations within our plant. Good? All right. And I can really expand that out to an hour conversation. I'm not gonna do it, and I really want to, but I'm not going to. I got a bunch of questions. Where are plants mapped to? The same plants that we received our materials at, where the storage locations are. These are mapped to company codes. What accounts are posted to by the GRIR? We debit the expense account and we credit the vendor account. What is a three-way match? A three-way match is when the purchase order is matched to the goods receipt and also the invoice receipt. All three of these things will match. That's a three-way match. What account is posted to between GRIR? The clearing account is credited during GR and debited during IR, resulting in a zero balance. And there'll be times there where there's not a zero balance if some of the quantities are off. We were supposed to get 100 quantity from the vendor, but we got 95, right? And that'll create an imbalance there, okay? I'm not gonna go too deep into that. Okay, question. What happens if there is an invoice receipt, IR, but no material and no goods receipt? So the vendor sent us the invoice saying, hey, pay me. So I'm like, oh man, I gotta pay him, okay. But we don't got any material. Well, at this point, you can do what's called a two-way match, because once we get invoice, we're supposed to process invoices in a timely manner. We don't want to just pile them up on the shelf, right? So we can do a two-way match. If we have the invoice receipt where the vendor's telling us to pay them, but we don't have the material yet, we can take our invoice receipt and we can compare it to the purchase order, and that's referred to as a two-way match. Okay? What happens if there is material and a goods receipt, but no invoice receipt? So we, ding dong, we got the material at the door. It's right at the door of our plant. Okay, we got the material. Where's the invoice receipt? I ain't got no invoice receipt. So what we gonna do now? Okay, so we take our purchase order, which has gone through approval, requisition was approved, purchase order was approved. So we know that what's on that purchase order is pretty accurate. And we're gonna take that and we're going to compare it against our goods receipt that comes with the material. Okay? PO, goods receipt, that's also referred to as a two-way match. But credits and debits will happen a little different depending on if you got an invoice and no material versus if you have material and no invoice. And if you want to see what that's all about, check out this GRIR video that I got below. Cool. Moving on to sales flows. I need my eraser. Sales flows. Sales flows. Sales flows. Okay. What is the main organizational unit in the sales processes? The sales organization. Question. At lower levels, where are sales performed at? The distribution channel, division, and sales office. Here's a nice photo image showing you all the main sales flow. First there's a quote, then there's a sales order, and delivery / goods issue and billing document. Question. What does the sales order contain? Elements that determine the automatic account determination. When does the sales order determine automatic account determination? During the delivery of goods, when goods issue is posted, when creating the billing document. What generates the financial document for the customer invoice? Receipt. Remember, the customer invoice receipt is when the vendor sends us a is when the customer says to pay us. We say pay us. We're telling the customer to pay us. Sorry. Customer invoice receipt. We sold something to someone, right? Then we send them a receipt. Okay, and we're saying, hey, pay us. That's the customer invoice receipt. So question is, what generates the financial document for the customer invoice receipt? The creation of the billing document. How does SAP determine the correct revenue accounts? By using sophisticated techniques involving condition tables and access sequences. What masters play a key role in determining revenue accounts? The material and customer master. Okay, that's it for our sales flows. Now we're going to talk about automatic postings in financial accounting. Okay, what areas of an organization can SAP S/4HANA manage? Virtually every area, because it is an integrated system. So many automatic postings can be configured. What single transaction in S-Pro can configure all automatic postings? Keyword all. None, because these postings come from different process areas and modules. What transaction can be used to configure most account determinations for automatic postings? We all know this, FBKP. And if you don't know, now you know. What process can't be configured in FBKP? The automatic sales posting process. Okay, let's go into SAP. Go ahead and log in, and we are going to, and I always recommend doing this in a sandbox or a quality client, okay? E2Q, something. You don't want to be screwing around in production. If you are in production, don't make sure you don't save or post anything. Okay, entity code FBKP. Press enter, and I want you to click on automatic postings. See all the links you got. All those you got links to special GL posting keys, document types, and all of that jazz. But we're gonna click on automatic postings. I have it highlighted for you there in the red box. Click on that, boom, takes you to this screen. And on this screen, we have various automatic posting settings organized by group. So just to give us an example for what we're talking about here, and you can pause, read all these different groups that we can, make settings in. But we're gonna click on materials management. And that'll take us to this screen, right? This screen can also be reached by using the T code OBYC. And that's also a T code that we all know. And if you don't know, all right, these are automatic postings related to materials management, because we just clicked on the materials management. Okay, the automatic postings for material management. All right, notice that each transaction is defined with a 3-character code, and then you can see that there in the transaction column. So we're going to go ahead and click on GBB, the offsetting entry for invoice posting. Let's see what kind of settings we got here. Bam, it takes us to this screen. Now I want you all to note the columns, note the column headers, okay, and I'm going to tell you what those are in a second. But first, I want you to know that each transaction from the T code OBYC can have different criteria in these columns, okay? The column headers. All right. Different accounts can be determined based on this criteria in countless ways. So if you can see all of the all that stuff down there, all of those funny looking numbers and digits, they can be used to access different accounts and things of this nature, or determine different accounts. All right, let's look at that first column. The first column is the valuation class, and that comes from the master record. Okay? Next column, we're going to look at is the valuation. Let's look this. I put these out of order. The second column is a general modifier, and that provides groupings with transaction-specific options. The third column there, which is listed second, is the valuation modifier groups. Valuation modifier, and this groups valuation areas. In particular, usually a valuation area is a plant, okay? So groups plants. And we can assign different GL accounts for the same valuation class of material, okay? I want you all to know that this logic can be used to modify the accounts for other transaction keys and areas. And not to be so abrupt, but that concludes this video. If this is helping you all with your journey in SAP FICO training, please like, subscribe, share, drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know if you got any funny jokes. Drop a funny joke. Try to keep it PG. All right, thanks for listening. Till next time. Peace.